Hello.
Hey, how is Switzerland?
Oh, yeah, that was a joke. Like random village next to Zurich. No, I'm in Poland, Warsaw, as usual.
A village next to Zurich.
Yes, I don't even remember the name to be honest. Zilo or something.
Zolikon.
Yeah, sounds funny.
Hmm.
Why is so big now?
Sorry, guys. What was stuck in the government board meeting? Thursdays it's always stacked. Anyway,
You should work. You should be in that many meetings.
yeah.
Very inefficient.
Give me a second, and then we can talk about stuff. So today I have basically one item. Second. Okay, that's my working group. Agendas 25. Not this one. Next week is next week Thanksgiving in the US, so we will have not a meeting. Okay, let's kick that off. Hi everyone. Let me remind you that by being here, we all agree to the GraphQL Spec membership agreement, the participation guideline, the contribution guide, and the code of conduct. Also, these meetings are recorded and published to YouTube. And we are using LLM to do summaries of these meetings. Let's start with a quick round of introduction. I'm Michael.
Hi, I'm Pascal.
And I'm Camille from the guild.
Hey, it's Derek here.
Hey, it's a Chin. Hi, Paulo.
Awesome. I have one item on the agenda, which is about the service definition, which was called before service capabilities, I think. It's actually something that is introduced for the new error behavior in GraphQL. Are there any other topics you want to discuss, which we can put on the agenda?
It's a good one, so let's chat about this one.
Okay. So let's get started. So there is a discussion about the new error behavior, which is mainly about that we don't propagate errors upwards or null propagation upwards, and that you have a new behavior that if there is an error, a field can be null even if it's not nullable. To enable that and for clients to inspect this capability or the behavior of GraphQL, because it's such a change, there is a new proposal to bring in this service definition, or what we called capabilities. We also, like from our side, I said this would be really useful for the composite schema, because we would have a place where we could ask what the server can do. For instance, variable batching or other things that are behavioral. But the initial proposal was that they only allow this via introspection, and that wouldn't have been enough for us. So Benji rewrote that, and we now have a new thing called, it's still called service capability here. And that basically allows us to have these tuples in there. Let me scroll down a bit. Just have an example here. If you doesn't, I can draw one.
I think it was one of the resolved comments or like older version. That's why it doesn't show up.
Yes. I'm just looking because this new capabilities version, if needed, we have this namespace. So let's draw something up in the comments. Let's see if we can find one. I think it's this one. Let's put that in. So the idea is in the GraphQL schema, like let's make this GraphQL. And let's say we have here a schema, and the schema has these types, right? You have other types, like whatever. And that is what we have today. And what we typically did as a compromise, as a workaround in Federation and also in Fusion and whatever else, is to put general purpose directives here, right? We could do something like, I don't know, a service, and then have a URL here, a name, a foo, and whatsoever. You get the point. We basically put metadata about our service and we annotated it to the schema, general practice for these kinds of things. What capabilities allows us now to do is to have here a service section. That means this is actually not a thing about the schema only. It gives us the capability to say also what the service can do, like more abstract or more towards also transport and things like that. For instance, it doesn't support the new GraphQL over HTTP specification, doesn't support variable batching, and things like that. For this, we have this new syntax here where we kind of have this namespacey style to put something in, and then we can provide in here a string. Kind of looks like a method invocation and gives us space to put our properties in. For instance, when we look here at GraphQL, the error behavior, there would be a string like it's propagating. So this is the old GraphQL behavior. So from our side, is that enough to do what we want to do in the composite schema spec to have these kinds of settings in there and to use them in the composition? Like as I said, you can inspect that through introspection. That is also better than with the old system. Like this here, we could inspect in the SDL, but we couldn't inspect through introspection. And with this new service capabilities, we have now both ways, right? We can have it in the SDL in this format. And then we have an introspection API, which we actually have now in the proposal. Let me go down here. Yeah, there you have this new __ service where you then can go through the capabilities. Are there comments on that? Is that good? Is that bad? Should we say it's not enough?
I think it actually changed from the original thing, right? Because the original one was the key value pairs, right?
Yeah.
And now it's changing to have that extra parameters there. Yeah.
Well, the syntax is a bit weird, but I guess it's just used to.
Mm.
Yeah, the main syntax change that Benji did was, I think, because of collisions with fields and stuff like that in parsing. And to allow us a bit growth here.
Yeah, it seems kind of odd with like the arguments passed like this versus like, because this to me like seems like this is just a map of things, right? And the maps are key value pairs, right? So that's why I think the previous one was more natural to think about it. But if this encodes the same thing, then I guess it's just personal
Is
preference. But
is this the STL or the query?
The SDL.
This looks like an SDL, yeah.
Yeah, it's the SDL. It's like it's just the colorization is off in this case, but it's the same like schema, right? We have this root. This would be a keyword, service, and then you have under service capabilities, which is these. We could like the idea is to have this as a root. Is that at some point you could also have directives on here, right? Or
So
it gives us this opt-in.
So this is the fourth entry in their schema, right? So you have it's next to query mutation and subscription, right? It's the service capabilities.
Well,
Right?
technically the fifth curly bracket is also one.
Yeah, I mean it's now like the idea is to have something that is not schema, because schema is actually a semantic construct in this thing. And what we are talking here about is not necessarily tied to the schema, right? There could be transport things. There will be transport things, right? Also execution behavior of your service and things like that. Like if you think about Apollo Federation, about the execution, I mean, you don't have to change what is there, right? But a lot of these things that were put on the schema could actually now be neatly stowed away in the service capabilities.
So I
Yeah,
personally do like the service capabilities over overloading stuff with directives, but that's my personal take on it.
yeah. The idea, I think, why also this is in this bracket form in this braces, is that we can put in things like objects later. Like if we need more than strings, right? Could also be something. No. It could be.
Could you also have multiple entries there? So GraphQL default error behavior or something else, like multiple entries there with different values?
You mean like this?
Well, so like this is namespace, right? So it's possible to have the default error behavior twice, or this is actually so one is
No,
propagate,
this is
the other one's not.
this would be a key, right?
Okay.
The key is you have a thing there. But what we talked about is that you could have something like this at some point, or an object, or whatever.
Yeah, to me it looks odd because it looks like a function.
Yeah.
And like when you
It looks like
assign
a
some, yeah, and then it like as Derek pointed out, like it's a function, so will it support more arguments in the future or not? And
yeah.
also why the capability is not like an array, for example, like a list capabilities and an object.
It's
Like
an object, right?
yeah, but like I mean if it's if those are basically like function calls, kind of, then it could be an array, right? And then you have like a set of capabilities. But if it's like a bracket and then it means, oh, it's an object, then I'm missing this, key equal value syntax.
Yeah, we had. So let me
It's
show
so
you.
exotic. It's so exotic that you look at it and you don't know if it's query or REST. Because it
Wait,
looks
Yeah,
like
I mean,
it looks
this
like
was the like this was the original proposal actually.
yeah, or even with the equal sign.
This
Like, yeah.
this was the original proposal that we had in the service capabilities.
So personally, I think this was clearer, but I understand that's due to some reasons that was probably suboptimal.
We can.
I have a question. Why was this ever discussed? I need to read through it. Could we just add a directive location outside?
How do you mean?
Like there could be just a new root level directive location, right?
Yeah, we discussed that, which brings other issues with.
So chosen. So there wasn't the last comment. There was. Can you scroll up a bit? Can you scroll a little bit
Uh,
up? There was a
yeah,
comment
yeah.
from Benjamin.
Yeah, there is Lee. What did he say? Is the expected grammatically require that at least one dot appears? Okay.
But like on the example there, I think Benji said why he actually chose the parentheses versus the colon thing. That was the last
Where?
comment. If you scroll up a little bit, scroll up.
Scroll up a bit.
Scroll up a little bit more. And over here, this is the bullet point. Chosen to use parentheses for values rather than columns to avoid descriptions alongside values causing syncretic.
Yes. I discussed with him because we were. Now I remember again. The problem is because we have these guys, and these guys are actually passed as a like. It's not clear anymore if this is a description or if it's a value, and you want to have descriptions. This is actually here. We want to have descriptions on this thing, and then distinguish with the parser easily that this is actually a value, or like the problem is, let's create a problem. If you have this in front of here, it's not clear if you just forgot this or if it's actually a description. Like there is ambiguity in there. And the idea was to encapsulate the value with, there could also be a different solution, right? But we don't have semicolons in GraphQL. So we didn't have these guys yet as anything, but you kind of need to know that this thing belongs to this key. And that's why Benji chose the braces to kind of say, here is the value. It's about ambiguity. But I mean, it's still time to say, if you guys don't like it, then we still can comment back on the PR. Or if we say it's good enough for what we want to do, and we're gonna take it. It looks good to me. Okay, come in. That's much.
Yeah, I mean, the only issue I have is just, personal,
Yeah,
how I feel about it. But like technically, it's fine.
I still like the previous syntax with the colon better because to me that is the key value pairs. But
yeah.
either one will work and it will make stuff easier. So sure.
Yeah, I agree. Right? It looks nice. Like the original proposal. It's
Yeah.
just this thing that, and then it's suddenly
Yeah.
this.
So the values are strings, and you don't know if that string is the comment or this is actually a value. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like in GraphQL, this is actually like just having this, right? Is the description.
Yeah.
Because before we never had values like this floating in the space. Like even if you have arguments, then it's kind of restrained always. Right? This is also restrained by the braces. Like it's always like contained. Yeah, okay. I will sign off on regard of the group. say go and do it, because like this enables so many things, like from the error behavior about like think about something like deferred stream. Like we had these many iterations of deferred stream, and at the moment it's like a pain to actually describe. This is the third draft of deferred stream that we support, for instance, right? We support the new structure. This can all go in the service capabilities now. And then we can build also all the stuff that we need for the composite schema spec, which, like, my main point is really the batching behavior. We could say, okay, for instance, we support request batching, or we support variable batching, or we support both. We support variable batching in combination with SSE or with multipart or whatever. You suddenly have like this is inspectable capabilities in the schema, which will be interesting.
It's just the same, very weird. Like I think this feature is very, very nice. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old, you know. Maybe I don't know. You know, in age you get more conservative. No, I have no idea. I think it's great. It also offers us new capabilities, not only like the in the fusion in the composite schema sense. So that's fantastic. So either way will be good. I don't have a better proposal, so
Yeah, me neither. It's just that this like GraphQL on error, like it screams to me, like give me the callback, you know?
Yeah, it does look like a function call, right?
Yeah, but I guess it's fine. I mean, if it helps parsing and shit, then yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
no,
yeah, I know what you mean, guys. It feels odd, but it does the trick.
I mean,
I mean,
GraphQL felt odd as well, right? When it appeared, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess if you would just no, it's the value semantic which is also strange.
But
Like
now
it,
that we have this kind this in here, right? It's like you could no, but we have a way to express namespaces suddenly. I think we could give another look at the namespace proposal.
wow,
And then,
now you start stretching it. Now you know when we talk about namespacing, that's the hot topic.
yeah, then you know you also have here the capability now. GraphQL.support.namespacing. Okay. Serious guys. Okay, so but we are okay with the functionality, and I mean,
Well, so as we said, I'm probably not the biggest fan of the syntax with the function calls because I don't think I've ever seen any other system having a configuration like this. But
yeah,
other than that, yeah.
yeah, it actually makes sense, right? We always write the service capabilities at the end, and it works like this: we first pass the schema, and then we invoke the configuration on the system, right? It's then configuring. No, not a good analogy. Okay. I can go back with the feedback that it feels odd. I'll talk to Benji and see.
It does work, so it does get better than what we have right now.
And
But
yeah, in general, I'm okay with it, but it's also like how many of these will we expect?
Yeah, also I think it's meant like to not be written by a human anyway, right? Like the endpoints and all of that, you usually define it through code and libraries.
Yeah.
So there's a
Yeah.
chance you won't ever see it, kind of, I don't know.
Well, I am true believer in code first libraries, but a lot of
Yeah.
folks write their SDLs by hand, right?
Yeah, but do you know, like Lee always said that the SDL was designed for readability, not for writability. Like that's why we also have this with the implements, right? Where you repeat the implements,
Mhm.
foo and bar, where you have the interface here, interface foo, and then interface bar. And then it cascades. I don't know. I mean, we can, like, do we want to have changes? Like, we prefer the other format, even with the ambiguity, or?
No,
I'm
so
fine with
now
both,
the
yeah.
argument is that okay, so you're saying that this is gonna be automatically generated by some of your library. So the question is how big of a deal it is with the ambiguity, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it could be like we don't care about the ambiguity. Like we think it's fine. It should not it could be a comment, right? Like we could have this feedback. It would be very late feedback. But we could still say like it feels so odd that we should take another look at it, or we could say like merge it.
To be honest, I think it's more what we should do in this work group. It's more about the capabilities of the capabilities. And I think we all agree that this is good for us because we can express it.
Yeah,
If
that's my thought on it. Yeah.
people have problems with this or do not want this, then that should be something which should be raised in the main work group. I don't think that the composite schema working group should have as feedback that it looks strange, because that's something which should be raised in the main working group by individuals and not from one working group to the others. Because our feedback is this is what we need to express it, right? So that's
Yeah.
fine. If people don't like the dots or the function calls or whatever, then that's a different topic. But from the capabilities of the capabilities, I think we're fine.
Yeah, I mean, that was the major feedback I gave actually, Benji, when I saw the first proposal, which just had introspection. And the feedback that came basically from our group was that this is actually what we want capability wise, but we need something that persists in the SDL. And that's why they started the SDL round. And I think this is now the case. We have it in the SDL, so we can say either, like I will give the feedback. It's enough. It's enough from our side, and it works out. And then each of us, if they feel compelled, can go to the PR and raise their issues with it, stylistically, right? Awesome. That's a bit what we had today. We are going through the validation algorithms at the moment and are fixing a lot of them. Like there are a lot of issues open on the spec repo. So if you are interested, you can have a look through. You can see here, there's a couple of already lined up. As is usual, I will go through them probably over the weekend and merge them through. If you have issues with one of them, just raise a comment on and then it will not be merged. But as is always the case, like even when we merge something, don't worry, you can always raise an issue afterwards on it as well. But at the moment, there's a lot of consistency stuff that we are fixing. And emerging over the next couple of days. Awesome. Are there other things that you want to discuss? Otherwise, we can close early and see us in 2 weeks.
See you later, folks.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.